To do is the approval of the agenda for this evening with some new business and some old business.
I'll make a motion we approve the agenda and submit it.
I'll second.
Okay, all say aye. Aye. Okay. Introduction of evidence. Oh yeah, approval of the minutes from the March 23rd meeting. Check it out real quick.
I move to approve the minutes as presented.
Second.
All say aye. Aye.
I don't think he heard you.
All say aye.
Aye.
Okay, so next is the introduction of evidence.
The municipal code for St. Genevieve and the design guidelines for the National Register Historic District.
Anyone make a motion?
I make a motion that we approve the evidence as submitted.
Second that.
All say aye. Aye. Okay, so then we're going to move on to the new business, which is a certificate of appropriateness to install a new 29-gauge metal roof to replace the existing and leaking asphalt shingle roof on garage, stamped tin metal shingle on house, and metal roof on the dormer of 199 North 5th Street. Is there somebody here to talk to us about that? Hi. You want to just go on up to that lovely podium?
You just take your name.
My name's Elaine Roth.
Hi.
Hi.
So can you just tell us about what you would like to do?
Well, currently the home, excuse me, the home has an old style metal roof. The garage was added on and it has a shingle roof, which something is leaking, either part of the garage or the old metal roof. They overlap by about 5 feet. And then the very top part, we don't know for sure what type of roof that is. So what I would like to do is to make it look better and more uniform is put a new metal roof on the garage and the whole house.
So that it all
hopefully stop
matches.
the leaking, so that it all matches.
And it says that it's a 29-gauge metal roof, and not the standing seam, which I guess is what this is all about, really. So, do we want to have a discussion about this?
I was gonna say, would you like to see what it looks
Yeah.
like, or? Would you like it on the table?
It's a little bit, is that a heavier gauge than normal?
I'm not sure.
Is the roof on the house leaking now or just the garage roof?
No, the roof is leaking and it's running down. The garage.
Yeah, I've driven past it.
Okay. Yeah, and so the garage was added on and it was put over part of the house roof. And apparently it's leaking on the house and then it's running down and coming into the garage and pouring into the garage.
But the house roof itself is not, the metal roof is still performing.
I cannot, without someone actually getting up in there, I would say I can't say 100% that it isn't the garage. But the garage roof is in fine shape. The metal is buckling, lifting. They've just recently painted it, and it's coming off again, so.
Well, a couple of questions on this particular roofing. Now, how is that attached?
How is it attached?
Yes.
That's what I do not know. It's a very old style roof. I've had a lot of trouble even trying to come up with that style. Carla even tried to find it for me.
You're asking how this is gonna be attached?
This
Yeah.
one here.
Oh, this one?
Yes.
This one would be attached with screws.
Screwed on it.
Mhm.
With,
Yes, sir.
I imagine with the washers under the screw.
Yes.
In every one of the raised positions.
Yes, they're every, I believe it's every 12 inches, all the way down. There's screws.
Do you know if there's any damage to the underlying roof structure, the wood
When-
under the roof?
When the roof is going to be put on, they're going to find
Find
out
out.
and fix anything that's
Would you
leaking
be
in there.
removing the metal roofing that's there now?
I'm not sure that we would have to remove it. I was just gonna say, I think that we probably would because of the fact that it is so old, and to make sure that everything is okay underneath. The contractor wasn't able to be here tonight, I'm sorry.
I think my biggest problem is that this is not roofing. I have not seen any recommendation for its use on residential type properties. We've considered a number of them here. I saw that letter there, and that said, the steel company says use steel roofing.
This is
Basically.
the exact same roof
But
that's on
I
the junior
didn't see
high.
anything about
In here.
historic houses.
Oh, no, not historic. You said, you asked me for residential.
Yeah, but I mean, normally a company will put out some literature for their product recommending its use. Have-
The only issue that we've noticed in the past with this type of roof is where they put the screw in and they have I guess it's like a rubber washer. That dry rots and then the water goes down that hole. That's the only downfall that we've found. I mean, on the way that because you can't really notice. I mean, I've been really trying to look for these now, and at first glance, you can't really tell the difference, I don't even think, but that's the only downfall that I have noticed from researching these. As long as you keep maintaining that, it seems like it's a good cost-effective way to do it.
Is there anything at the eave of the roof that prevents water from being blown up in those other seams?
Oh, on the new roof?
Through here.
Yes. There's a ridge cap put across the top.
What?
There's a ridge cap there's a cap that's put across the
On
top.
the ridge, but I'm talking at the eave.
Yeah, the roof overhang,
On the overhang,
sort of.
in the bid. I'm sorry. I'm not a construction person.
I know, I was joking. I just had to follow the same way.
It's on the bid, you say?
It is, and it's what's crazy is between the house and
It says,
the metal panel.
install flashing is needed, middle corners on all gable edges. That would probably be your soffit fascia, and that would be what finishes it out.
Boy,
The closure steps.
I'm asking so many questions because we're not dealing with a shed or a barn. We're dealing with a very attractive house, which our consultants that were hired by the Board of Aldermen has, but they have designated it as eligible for, to be a, what am I trying to say?
Contributing structure,
What?
contributing.
Yeah, a contributing building to the National Register. It's in the National Register contributing building. And you have on it a historic type roof, which is not, other than the garage, you haven't documented that it is leaking and it needs replacement. Perhaps it needs painting. You may end up with, by painting it, you may end up with a more durable
I just had
She
it
said they
painted.
painted it.
He,
roof than what you have out of this very thin roof nailed to the surface, which is inviting damage down the road.
well, she just, yeah, you just said you had it painted
Sealed
recently.
and painted.
Yeah, I had it sealed and painted before I closed on the house in January. And it's already coming off. And I don't know if it's, yeah, it's, there's a lot of the roof, if you went by there, you saw that a lot of it is like this. It's buckled, it's damaged, it's,
Yeah, but is it still performing as a roof? Is my question. I mean, the garage roof is leaking, so something has to be done to replace the leaking roof. But all I'm saying is that you are going to replace the residential section with an inferior product, worse than the one that's on it. Something that normally is sold for barns or sheds. And
Sir, that is-
something that the contractor on a number of occasions has not been able to come in with a document that says this is recommended for residential use.
We just go through this with Becker, same roof.
Yeah.
that is the exact same roof that is on the junior high. That roof has been there for
It's the
years.
same one that's on the mill
It's
too.
the same one.
There's several houses in town that have this exact same roof.
That's right.
I mean, I checked in this. I'm not trying to just come in and throw something crazy on here. I love my old house. I'm trying to keep
It's a
everything
beautiful little home.
inside as old as I can. But I don't want it to be damaged by this leak that's coming in. And it seems to be coming from the old part of the roof under the new shingle roof. My thought was if I could replace the whole roof, I would prevent any more leaks and I would make the whole structure look better instead of having a grayish shingle roof on my garage and then the green roof on my house.
The only thing that I could feel like I can add to that with the or the junior high, they have that roof, but they don't have to abide by the historic preservation. I don't even understand
Does
that.
the mill have to? 'Cause the mill
Well,
has the
but I
same
think,
School districts are political subdivisions of the state.
rate. The mill,
No,
it does not have to?
It does.
They have to also.
school district, no, but,
but the other ones, like outside of the historic district, we have approved in the past. And part of it, from my understanding, I agree. Part of it, from my understanding though, is whenever it's got structures around it that are historic, and I think we're looking at like the Academy and Tim's lovely house. We're just trying to abide by these rules. I agree that having the structure as one and at the age of your house, and since it has the 3 different types of roof on it, I kind of feel like maybe this would be okay, and
The roof that is on the dormer looks like that panel.
What?
The roof that's on the dormer of the house looks like that panel right there. I don't know for sure what it is. The only place that I could see that roof was sitting in front of the middle school. And I got in the back of my truck because I was like, that looks like something different even up there.
That's that picture.
That's correct.
what do they do on the ends of it? Like when it comes down and you have the corrugated part that comes up at the very edge by the rain gutter, what do they do so that nothing gets up in there?
That's
what
where
he
these
was
closure
asking.
strips
Yeah.
are.
Oh, okay.
And the closure strips actually get sandwiched in, and they follow the same pattern as the ridge in the panel, and they get
All
sandwiched
the time.
in between the fascia or the roof cap and the flashing there and the metal.
Is this on the E or on the ridge?
This is out on the E.
And it's a tin or plastic?
Yeah.
I'm not so sure what that material is.
Well, most of the barn siding that I see on houses is not protected.
It's some
Well,
type
that's
of
what I'm
Yeah.
saying. I've seen nests under there.
But it is some type of a seal because it has a backing on it that attaches to the flashing.
And it fills the voids.
The void's there. And whenever the panel is screwed down onto the,
How far back does that go though? Because like I've seen nests come out of that.
Yeah.
Well, wherever they end this, I mean, if this was the fascia, you know, I mean, depending on what the roofer does, usually they leave that much hangover so the water hits the gutter.
gutter.
So wherever that fascia ends,
I mean,
there's
I'm-
good- you know,
Because-
there's,
'cause I'm
and how
talking
wide that
about-
strip is, I don't know, that would depend on the manufacturer, but that's
Well, because
how
what
they
I'm
put-
talking about would protect the house too. You know, 'cause
Right.
you don't want anything going up under
Right,
there.
yeah.
Causing more damage.
But
than
this is the
it's
same stuff that is on Beckerman's, that was just done.
Yes.
I remember
I'm well
that.
aware of that.
Right.
And it's beautiful,
Yes.
beautiful.
It looks adorable, but it doesn't look historic. And it is a historic district.
No,
And we're concerned about the historic district, not a series of individual houses.
Do you want to leave me speak?
Oh, I don't care. Sir, the house right next door to mine is identical, and it has vinyl siding and a shingle roof. And it's the exact same house as mine. I'm trying to keep it as best I can and protect the home.
I appreciate that. I recognize that you are, and that you do have a very attractive house. I just think that you do need to replace the roofing on your garage. I'm not sure you need to replace it on the house. That's not documented, other than, I guess, the roofer said that's where the problem is.
From what we can tell, yes.
But I just don't think that that is an appropriate style for historic district, for a historic home. Now, the others may not agree with me.
Martin?
I'm Timothy Conley.
I know that you.
Yes, yes.
Hi.
And, hi. Frank Rolfe and I support her doing this. And I don't agree with you. That it, oh God, this is our favorite. that style of a roof fully complements the historic nature of this, and it's borne out with Carla's recommendation. And the shingles roof that was applied with nails is 50 years old, and it's not any thicker than that. And it's coming up all over the place. And she wants the 3 roofs to be replaced with this product, and it is entirely possible to do so under the historic preservation. Only you cited as impossible.
You showed me the document where it says it's acceptable.
Yeah,
That's
right
all
there.
I asked.
Carla.
That's a piece of advertising by the steel
No,
industry.
Carla, you showed me the document.
The one about
Yeah,
this one here, where it states that different types of different types of materials available for roofing applications, and metal is one of them. While metal roofing is primarily used for commercial applications, it has become an attractive alternative for residential roofing because it is relatively lightweight. It meets the UL listings of Class 3 and 4 specifications and may have a Class A and B fire resistant rating.
thank you. I
Is
can't,
it consistent with the design guidelines?
Well,
I'm sorry?
Is it consistent with the design guidelines?
The design guidelines state
Well, that's the
that,
question, you're the only question you have to answer.
but I will tell you this, and your points are well taken, you're entitled to your opinion and your recommendation, that's what you're here for. But if you recall, we went through this with the Beckerman House, Bob and Joyce Beckermans. This committee said it was not appropriate, they came and they appealed. Carla, you could probably look it up in the minutes from whenever that was, and I don't know when it was, but I remember the board saying this was not going to be a topic of dispute anymore.
Board of Aldermen?
Oh, Board of Aldermen.
Well, then,
As far as I know, now, if I'm wrong, I'll admit I'm wrong, but you go and, if you can find that, you won't be able to find it tonight, but you go and look, and you'll find that they were allowed to do that, and the basis of that was, we agreed this is not to be objected to.
Well, then you guys need to tell us that.
It was said that night of the meeting. I don't know how that transposes to you all.
Like, I'm so
I'm just saying, it's already been done at the Beckermans.
it was unanimous.
Yeah.
I was present.
He was there.
I was present.
Right.
Well, I'm gonna just tell everybody here on TV that no one's ever given that information to us. And we are trying to follow the guidelines.
Understood.
I think
They were
the
given
Board
to
of
us.
Aldermen made a mistake in doing what they did.
I'm tired of looking
But
stupid.
if that is their will, put it in writing, modify the instructions you give us. And if you say we have to, we have to. But as long as we are guided by this document, which you paid for and which has been approved, I can't see that it allows what you're asking for.
It doesn't,
And it doesn't disallow it either.
it doesn't disallow it at all. You cannot prove it in writing. It doesn't disallow it. And the Board of Aldermen unanimously approved it on appeal.
I'm well aware of that.
in the design guidelines that I had noted in my staff report, Section H 17 for roof materials should be used similar, in a manner similar that historically and chosen based on compatible appearance with the structure. And then subsection C says a new metal roof should be applied detailed in a manner that is compatible with the historic character and does not distract from the historic appearance of the building. Metal roofing materials should be appropriate for the building style and period. Metal roof materials should have a matte, no reflective finish. Seams should be low profile, and then the edges should be finished similar to what was seen historically, simply bent downward at the edges for a very slight overhang. And so-
Where is there a disapproval of that, in that language? Where?
Well, the only thing that I looked at is I asked about the edges, and when I try to really follow what it says, I would look at the 10, I would look for the 10, and I understand how that's hard to find because we have a building with 10 inside of it, and that's even hard to find, you know? So I totally get that, but when I look at those 10 that are on the house, that's not what's going to be put on. And that's where I run into the issue with it when I read what's been written. And then a lot of people moved to the shingles, and asphalt shingles have been approved in the past. You know, as it's gone on. I'm just trying to follow what it says.
Well,
I understand. Would you not feel that another form of metal, though, would be better than going with a shingle roof?
Yeah, I do.
It is not any disagreement with a metal roof. A large proportion of the houses in the community, both historic and non-historic, were built with metal roofs, standing seam metal roofs, which is a beautiful roofing system with no exposed fasteners through to the exterior. Very durable. They're being torn off and discarded regularly in the community because the roofers don't like to work with them. They're not equipped to work with them, and but it's a lot more expensive to replace than painting them. And what I'm suggesting, you have a metal roof on your building that you have not said is leaking except in the garage, which is a shingle roof. And I will agree, you've got to replace the shingle roof with something. And if it's shingle, and you have to replace it, it could be replaced with shingle. But,
And that is what the design guidelines say.
I don't like the appearance of barn siding because it looks like a barn, not a house.
It does say that if it's going to be replaced, that it should be with like kind. So if we're reading that, you know, word for word, then they're technically, I would want mine all three the same. But by what it says with like kind. So if the garage has shingles, it should have shingles.
If that was the case,
If that was-
then I could have approved it
Right.
without coming here.
Is anybody ready to make a motion? I feel like we're beating this to death.
I was gonna say, how did it get approved before to have 3 different types of roof on my home?
Probably before this.
Before?
Well, sometimes a lot of these were before the Board of Aldermen approved these guidelines that we have to follow. Is anyone ready?
Well, trying to think how to phrase, I mean, I totally understand she wants a uniform roof. And for the sake of the building, it would probably be best to have a uniform roof so you don't have the problem she has now. Is this the only type of roof that you have researched and priced?
It's the roof I can afford.
And you had the question of whether it was going to be sealed where it doesn't grow on the roof that's there now. And are they going to take all the old roof off and just replace everything with this?
There, as far as I know, yes. Like I said, the contractor couldn't be here, so I'm asking. He said he'd be available for questions, but
I'm unable to make a motion.
Well, that is back to the, what can we afford to get done and what do we want to get done?
The contractor is on the phone, and he's answering him. He's answering with a text.
He can do that if needed.
What?
Remove the old.
Hmm?
I can't imagine putting that down over.
Yeah, you
You
can't
can't
put
do
that, you can't put that over something that's lumpy and curled. You're gonna
No,
see-
you're just
No.
gonna have.
No, you can't do that.
He said, yes, that can be done.
The academy has an asphalt shingle roof, and it was approved. Yeah, and they went and took off a standing seam as favor, and it's rolled up. I have pictures of it, and they put on a shingle roof that's still on it, and in about 5 years, it'll be removed and replaced with a shingle roof, very likely. And so that's one big exemption to your rules. And
Well, I would say I would reluctantly move that we accept the proposal as written. Although,
Okay.
So a motion to accept the staff recommendation for replacement.
yes,
Reluctantly. Do we have a second? No. Okay. I'll say aye. Aye. Your vote?
You had a vote, or a motion, if you seconded it. I did
Oh,
not.
I thought you did.
No, I did not say a word.
So then what do we do?
Oh, motion to die for lack of a second.
the motion would die. So then it goes to
And we'll take it to the board
the
of
Board of Aldermen.
without a recommendation.
And I know what the answer will be, but.
Well, there you have common sense.
Well, then, why
Yeah.
are we doing
Yeah.
this?
Yeah, they have common sense.
Yeah.
You're just a jerk.
I have disagreed with you on many things, Tim, and I've never felt that I was totally wrong.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, I know.
and some of them have been rude.
Okay. So let's, I guess then we'll just have to move that to the Board of
Week
Aldermen.
from Thursday.
And,
What's second for?
Yeah, it's not this Thursday.
Oh, it's not.
All right. There we go.
Well, all I asked for was give me some recommendations by a manufacturer of this material that it is recommended for residential use. And I've asked that on about 3 or 4 different projects, and never yet has that piece of paper been produced.
I truly agree with Frank, like, I have an old building, and it's very hard because, and that's how I got on this committee. But when you try to follow what they want us to follow, and if I do that, it doesn't always say. And I understand where he's coming from, because it doesn't say it's residential. Like, if it would come out and say, bam, residential, we would be good.
Frequently used on residential, yes, but no,
So
it
I'm
says
so
you can
sorry.
use it, but it doesn't
Let's just
say
do it
that
the way
it's
they want us to
recommended.
do
to
it,
do so.
and
Okay,
I tried to make it shorter.
thank you.
Thank you. Okay, can we move on to the old business at 124 Merchant Street with Sarah Menard?
My name is Sarah Menard, and I own the property at 124 and 132 Merchant Street. And I appreciate the work of this committee, and believe me, I do not envy you. The good news is, I don't want to alter my building at all, and you have ruled on this in the past, that I want to put one of those temporary metal sheds, like are across the street, behind my building, and the recommendation, the approval and the recommendation was that it be up against the back of the building. And I'm asking if you would rethink that, because it's not going to be invisible. If it's up against the back of the building, if you are driving south on Main Street, if you're on Main Street driving south, you can see it back there. If it's in the corner, you can't see it. If you're driving north on Main Street, you can't see it at all. If you are a pedestrian walking on Merchant Street, yeah, you can look in the backyards. It's not going to be invisible. And if you're one of the 200 cars that drives the wrong way on Merchant Street every year, you could probably see it back in the corner. But up against the back of the ice cream shop is just really impractical. It cannot be on the east side. That's what there's a, and I have pictures, and I think you've seen these before. It's like a lean-to that's back there that has my dumpsters and stuff in it. So I don't want to take that off. The problem exists because when I gave up the antique shop, I lost all my storage. So junk that is not very attractive is piled under the stairs in the alley. If I put the building on the west side by the end of the ice cream shop, it's going to stick into the alley so cars can't go back there. Well, that's our parking. Well, I don't want to put it in the driveway. I'd really rather, now Carla came down and walked it, and yeah, if you're on those benches next to the ice cream shop, if you turn around, you'll be able to see it. But you'll be able to see it if it's up where I park my car all the time, because you can see my car.
Well, so you're just asking for it to be put where you originally asked?
Yes,
To have
yeah. And I will mask it somehow if that's,
Like a bush or something?
if that's a recommendation. It's going to be tan, it's the same color as the back of the shop.
So can we make a motion?
And I'm not in any great hurry. If you want to come down there and look at it, or drive Main Street. If you drive south on Main Street, you really can see, you can see the fence where my dumpsters are. if my car's parked back there, you can see my car. So if I put a building back there, you can see it.
Well, I think if there
You
was a bush or
already
two
own
there.
the shed.
No,
You're wanting to.
yeah, now I have agreed to buy it, but I have not yet.
Is it entirely possible to retain, to acquire something that looks very compatible with the historic buildings of St. Genevieve?
Well, I suppose. I mean,
That,
you know,
I
there are probably
Out-
15 of those sheds within 5 blocks of the building. They're all over the place.
Outbuildings are a very important part
Mhm.
of a
Yeah.
historic district.
But I'm not going to build a structure
Yeah,
back there.
And granted, most of them in St. Genevieve have already been disposed of, so they're not there. But when when you need to have one, and I don't dispute the fact
Yeah.
that you need it,
Yeah.
it would be nice if it were something that were compatible with the historic structure, that we didn't have to hide, that we could kind of show it off.
Yeah, I don't know what that would be.
That's not the case with a metal storage building.
Yeah, it's, you know, there's one, my plan would be to set it right behind the one that's,
Like right here.
behind the red one that's there.
Yeah,
Yes,
right in there.
yeah. Yeah, well, I don't know, Frank, I don't know what kind of building you want back there. I mean, I really don't. I mean, I don't know what would be considered compatible. I'm not gonna have something built.
So if there was like another, why did you choose tan?
Because it's the same color as the back of the shop.
Okay.
So it matched the backyard.
I feel like if it just had some kind of bushes on the side of it that kind of masked it, you know, and it wasn't as, you know,
You know,
when you're sitting on those benches.
well, it really, I mean, there are trees there, and when they're in bloom, of course, you can't see. And there's a gigantic air conditioner that is attached to what was Station 2. And it'll be, you know, 25 feet behind that.
Is anyone ready to make a motion?
Who's that other shed belong?
It belongs to Station 2,
That's what I
guess,
thought,
or
that's what I thought, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I thought it was neighboring property.
right, and that's why I want to set it behind where that one is.
Okay.
So for Main Street, it's not an issue. For Merchant Street, it'll show. I mean, if you're a pedestrian and you want to turn around and look, you'll be able to see it.
But from us thinking about it from the last meeting, I guess I didn't realize it would be seen from both streets that way.
You can't if you're going north on Main Street, you can't notice anything.
Right, but
But if you're driving south on Main Street, if you get to the corner right there by the Audubon, you can see that lean-to where the dumpsters are. You can see my car if it's parked back there. You know, and I always park the ice cream van where I want to put that.
Yeah.
And, you know, you could not see the front end of the van. You can only
Right.
see the back end of it. So you can't really see that whole corner.
As I said before, I'm not disputing the fact you need storage.
Oh, I know.
I just, again, it's a matter of a historic district. And,
I understand, yeah.
Metal tin building of sorts is really not what you expect to see in a historic district. It's impossible for you to look around. I mean, everybody's building these structures now. And come in with something, if it,
Well, I imagine the guy that builds those could decorate it somehow to make it look less,
Instead of a tin building, could you use a wooden one? Even-
well, I think you'd have to build a wooden one on site.
you drive up the highway and you see
The guy out there on B.
hundreds
They have
of them
makes-
sitting there,
yeah.
different styles.
That's
And
what
I'm not trying to
yeah.
direct that you go buy one, but what I'm suggesting is perhaps you could select something that you think fits in well with your buildings. And come to us, and if we can, we want to approve something because we know you need the storage.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'll keep working on it
Something with a
then.
wooden siding instead of a metal siding, perhaps.
But
Something with a wooden siding instead of metal.
I think it would be easier to find something with wooden siding that's appropriate than it would be for metal.
Like the board and batten siding, something like that.
Well, what if it's siding like this on the back of the ice cream shop? You probably can't see it from there.
That would fit better.
What is that? On the back?
Looks like a shiplap.
Yeah, it's not vinyl, but it's not wood either. I don't know what it
Like a
is.
marine board?
I don't know what marine board is.
Composite material.
Yeah, it is,
for
it is a
principal.
composite material, yeah.
Yeah,
Good composite material
Oh, well, yeah, because that looks
can be
like,
used.
clapboard.
like that fiberboard type.
That would look better than
That
shiny
would,
metal.
that would go with the building better, like,
Blend in better.
but did we just ask for her to think about where to move it?
Well, I think the
Or
proposal
it
was, can
approved?
she put it in a different place than what we allowed earlier? So now the question is,
Since it
not
can-
where she wants to put it, but what is it sided with? So,
Well, I understand you're saying a more appropriate sided building at that location would be
yeah, it would blend in.
worthy of your
It
consideration.
wouldn't be blinking big red lights and looking at it.
But you were given permission,
Right, but I don't want,
provided that it was up against the
but
building.
I don't want to put it against the building.
Okay.
I mean, I have a back door and a window. I think it would probably be a fire code violation to put it in front of the door.
Well, how would that be phrased?
I can keep it built. Something different.
Approved replacement if the facing
You don't need to act at
materials
all
are
No,
compatible.
we don't have to.
Until she brings something to you for you to review.
Yeah,
I think that's what it should do.
Yeah.
is
They have
Come in
a
with
lot of
something
different
different
sided
style.
ones at Lowe's, because we've looked at them for like cabins.
Yeah, because you have, boy, the two buildings that you have in that location have, ever since I've been in town, they've always been showpieces. They really are.
Yeah, I don't want anything down there that's gonna
And,
look crummy. I don't, yeah.
It's not that we want to deprive you of the storage space, it's just we want it to be something that's more compatible with the location.
Well, maybe I'll talk to Mike and see if I can get him to put something on it that will, maybe he could build it out of metal and then mask it with something.
Maybe just that one side, or the little fence thing or something.
Well, no, it probably need to be the whole thing, it might need to be, yeah. Okay, I'll keep looking, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so then, is there any other business, old business? Okay. The only other thing that we have is that we've gotten a letter of resignation from Wayne Grusling. And he's busy with his new position at the license office, and it is taking much more time than he had thought. Thank you. So he's resigning as commissioner. Okay, so do we have any public comments? Okay. And then, do we have a motion to adjourn?
So
Second? All say aye. Aye.